What's up, people who only watch me for my Jonathan Majors coverage? I am a Marvel Comics observer, and I notice things from time to time. Like, when there's a movie-related project, the comic books will copy or include. So, for example, when Ironheart started showing up in the Black Panther movie, the Wakanda Forever movie, she shows up in the Iron Man series. During Spider-Man, when Mysterio was the main villain in that 2019 film, hey, that week, Mysterio was the villain in the comics. When Namor needed to show up in that garbage 15-issue volume, he showed up. I don't know why he was the protector of Wakanda, but he showed up. We had something similar happen with Kang the Conqueror. Race swap aside, that is who Jonathan Majors is. But in December, after the conviction, he was blackballed. He was sidelined. He was done this. As you can see, there's a comic book that's Kang right in the middle, and he can say the words, "When next we meet, Avengers, it will be as it should be, as enemies. Execute time jump." And he leaves. The plan, the storyline that was going to happen between what the Avengers were cooking and what Kang was supposed to participate in stopped right there in a comic that released in February. What do I know that maybe you don't get is that there's a 3-month production time for a comic book to come out. I am theorizing that a directive was given from higher up to say, no more Kang. Whatever we were cooking with Kang in the Avengers comic series that started in issue number 1, this is 10. That storyline needs to be dropped. Find a way to get him out of here. They pulled the memories out of Kang earlier in this issue, and they don't need him anymore. There'll be another villain. We're not doing Kang. Off on the Kang. And that's why Kang just says, I'm gone. Well, what now? If that isn't writing flying by the seat of your pants, I don't know what is. That to me was evidence that Jonathan Majors' case against him, that case was being used against him. That case, the outcome of it, and Kang the Conqueror, the character, was benched due to real life events. Is this somebody at Marvel higher up noticing it from like the studio? Was Kevin Feige putting that out? Was the editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics someone who was responsible? Maybe it was just the editor. I don't know Jed MacKay from Adam. Maybe the writer is named Jed MacKay on Avengers. Maybe the writer says, can't use Kang anymore because I got a solidarity. Some people politically, they think like Cheyenne Whitetree. Some people do that. And it's something I observed, and you probably didn't. Now you know. I am tired of this case. I'm sick and tired of this case. I hate knowing that this man dialed 911 for a woman who seemingly needed assistance. And the results of that is he gets put in the system. They dig back. They, meaning media, Cheyenne Whitetree, a district attorney, Alvin Bragg, all of these people of colorless show up in unison to dig into a man's past to find out what happened at a mailbox with an ex that he's no longer with. But hey, you broke up with somebody. I'm sure they got stories to tell that derived from an arrest that was bogus, those charges didn't even fly anymore. All from, let me do something right. Someone is lifeless. I need to help. Roller like a Don fan when it comes down a hill, all the way into where we are today. It is making me sick. This case and everything surrounding it. The news story is blah. Jonathan Majors gets cut from this movie, from that movie, and it feels that if you are not paying attention to the details day by day, you are going to be misinformed. I hate hearing this Coretta Scott King thing. We knew about it from reports, and then the evidence was unsealed in the middle of the trial before the jury had made their decision. That's very fair. The evidence is unsealed, and it gets a second news cycle day when we get to hear the video, the recording that she was secretly using against him. How suspicious. Then there's an interview. I watched it with Lindsay Davis. She asked, hey, a lot of people talking about this Coretta thing. Oh, this is what I meant by the Coretta Scott King thing. Hey, and now Lindsay, what's up, Lindsay? I was just talking to you about Coretta a few minutes ago. I understand you'll get the reference because you're part of the conversation. So when I said that Megan Good was, I'm at a loss for words. She was my Coretta. She understood. Lindsay got it. I got it. I was watching the whole thing. But if you're misinformed and relying on people who want to jump on a punchline, this guy can't get Coretta off his mind. No, he referenced it earlier. You didn't see that part. You just think he just randomly thinks of Coretta Scott King, don't you? It's so disturbing to see agents of the DA, agents of the Rolling Stones, the Variety, doing their bidding, doing the work for them, when you should be observant and woke and realize that there is a systemic oppression live in living color. It's ongoing. We're in the middle of this process that is happening to somebody of a likeness with a darker hue. He was believed to be more guilty, even when, and shout out to Priya Chaudhry, the attorney of Jonathan, even when she goes, everything that was said in court was trying to prove he intended to do it. That's all his ex-girlfriend, when she was taking the stand, all she talked about was how he meant to do it. So where are we getting reckless assault from? They got 2 bites at the apple. This should be thrown out. When you look at everything, how could you say he did reckless when he was never accused of that? The jury wasn't listening to the testimony of the woman, or even the fucking driver who said the words, she did everything, he was doing nothing. It was all her. He was trying to get rid of her. Then you see the video of him run. You see a video of him carrying her and putting her in a car. You see him pushing her, but what you're not paying attention, unless you're super racist. You could be hateful and you can ignore something. When he pushed her in the car, she resurfaced into his face. Like, her hair was so blonde and bright, you can see it even though it's a lot of darkness. You can see her keep emerging back in his space. You cannot push someone multiple times unless they're re-emerging in you. It is okay to push somebody away from you, especially one who put scratches on you. Oh, by the way, the scratches were not admissible as evidence in court. There's some audio that happens, but because they're not seen on the camera of where this audio happens on the streets, it wasn't admitted in court as evidence. Huh? But it's like a few seconds after this camera on the security footage on that sidewalk, and we saw her, and we can hear her with her British accent. Why wouldn't we be allowed to hear this one just because the camera is facing in a different direction, but we can still hear the audio, and we know it's happening the same time of day, of night. It's only a few seconds later. It's New York City, not England, so if someone's speaking an English accent and it's a woman, we can subtract all these possibilities and just decide and agree that is actually her. It wasn't admissible. The body camera footage that the police were wearing, they cut the audio of it, so you couldn't see them. The police manufactured this arrest. All the man did was dial 911 because someone needed help. He broke up with her earlier. He's like, I got text messages talking about the breakup. I'll be covered. This should work fine for me. Nope. Every decision you've ever made, Jonathan, needs to be analyzed. His time at Yale. If this guy was running amok in Yale, don't you think Yale would have done what the jury did? Had no tolerance for someone with skin that dark and booted him? Don't you think that if he had a problem on Lovecraft Country, we'd have heard about it? Don't you think people would protect Jonathan? We're just hearing about these things pop up now. If you have a legitimate concern, a case against him, and you want to talk to New York Times, and you want to talk to all these... By the way, New York Times, stop. The New York Times obtained the district attorney's, motion? But the sealed evidence, the New York Times obtained it, even though it's not supposed to be out in public. Like maybe the word is motion, maybe the word is file, maybe the word is unsealed information. They're not supposed to have it, and they got it. DA is crooked. So back to any woman. If Jonathan wronged you in your past, I don't have a 24/7 surveillance on this man. He is capable of doing wrong things. If he wronged you, and you want me to believe you, but no, if he wronged you, take it to court. Prove it. Don't go to a newspaper, by the way, let's besmirch his name. He wronged you, receive financial compensation for it. Settle something with him. Figure it out. Go do the proper avenues. Don't go speaking now because he dialed 911 for a woman in March 25 and they put him in the system and now you're like, let me pile on him. And don't expect me to respect that. It's very hard to believe. It's already difficult to believe for something that I can't see because I wasn't there. Because again, no one has 24 hours surveillance. I don't know how he was like, if he was a good boyfriend, bad boyfriend. He says he was a bad boyfriend to many women. That's fine. And it's not fine, but it's not criminal. If he wronged you in a physical way, put hands on you, and I'm only hearing about it now because after this Stephanie thing, like, I'm doubting it. I'm doubting it. That's the case right there. The doubt. Should women be believed? Should they not be believed? You are doing a disservice to women who want to be believed. If there's footage of a guy running away from a woman who's been attacking him, but he tries to get her back, gives her a second chance, gets her in the car, and she's still going after him, and he leaves, and then she goes on all night clubbing. This is all on footage. Her finger's fine, her ear's fine. He dialed 911 for her. There's an audio that we could hear of him dialing 911 for her. We understand everything that, and she can still get him on reckless assault, on harassment. You are exposing the system. You are making it less believable for actual victims in real life that happen often. Something like, now I was going to give a statistic. A high statistic of times where these are alleged, complained, actually get proven to be true. It's favorable for a woman to speak out and accomplish a guilty verdict, or a legitimate verdict. That's so hard to talk about. Man has text messages. This man has text messages, like their texts did. They say, I'm breaking up with you. She has text messages before she was playing dead on the floor. Just before he entered. Proving that she was playing dead. She secretly records him. And this thing goes against Jonathan? Damn. We got to do something to combat racism. Jonathan Majors is black. Like, skin is melanated. With that comes less believability to a certain people of a certain hue and a certain mindset. They grew up in a world where the movies that they see have trash representation if you got dark skin. It is hard for them, the members of the jury, to value somebody like that based off of just what they're exposed to when it comes to people like that. How could they see a human when every time they turn on, sometimes it's the news, and sometimes it's just fiction, and they associate melanated skin with negativity and unworthiness of a fair shot at trial. And a fair shot at when I'm crossing the street, is someone I wave at or not. Just the humanization of it all. Media is important. That is what I'll leave you on. This was about a comic book. Yeah, right here. See? He's gone. Kang the Conqueror disappears. Just like that. He's gone. Bye. I'm going home to my planet. If you like more stuff, everything I just talked about with the media, me and Dre were speaking on. Go to like the 4th hour of this video. You'll notice it when we go on. Somebody gave us a website that showed us all of the upcoming projects where the lead character is, or the cast of the characters have dark skin, black people. We analyzed it, and I was kind of noticing, damn, this is a lot of negativity. Me, She Dreads Me was there. Torian Rain Reloaded was also there, and we were just discussing how bad it is and how few and far between the kind of positive stuff. People with dads, people who are not in jail, people who are not getting beat up constantly. Just how rare it is to get positive representation and what is needed. Chillmonger's working on an IP right now, a comic book series. You'll hear about it next year or the year after, whenever it's time to release. But when this thing releases, I'm changing the world with it. I'm conscious of stereotypes and stigmas, while the characters may have difficulties, problems, things to adversities to climb, to conquer. I'm going to just stay away from jail, angry black woman. I'm going to stay away from, as much as I can, the trash stereotype. Nothing to do with the past. No references to enslavement, okay? Trauma, all that stuff. No, that's not what you're going to find here. Skin will happen to be dark, and they will happen to be in a place that is not regular Earth. Okay? Regular Earth. I'll put it that way. Become a channel member to understand more. Here's the video I'm talking about here. Here's the video with Dre. Enjoy this. I can go longer and on. But if you just go here and give watch time to the Dre Max Show, I'd appreciate that.